The quiet hum of the laptop fan was usually the loudest sound in my apartment when I worked from home, but that week it was delightfully, wonderfully interrupted. The joyful patter of tiny paws on the hardwood floor, the soft whimpers that signaled a need for cuddles, the delightful chaos of a new puppy discovering his world. His name was Finn, a little golden retriever mix with eyes that could melt glaciers and a tail that never stopped wagging. Bringing him home had filled a space in my life I hadn't even realized was empty. The first few days were a blur of training pads, chew toys, and endless adoration, but the inevitable loomed. I had to go back to the office. The thought of leaving Finn alone for the first time filled me with a surprising amount of anxiety. Would he be okay? Would he cry the whole time? Would he chew through my entire sofa? My logical brain knew he'd be fine, but my new parent heart needed reassurance. That's when the idea of pet cams clicked. I ordered a couple online, sleek little devices with night vision and two-way audio. Within an hour of them arriving, I had one perched on the bookshelf in the living room, overlooking his favorite napping spot, and another in the kitchen, giving me a clear view of his food and water bowls. Just a little peace of mind, I told myself, a way to check in during my breaks. The first day I left him was tough. I practically ran to my computer at work, pulling up the live feed. And there he was, a tiny golden ball of fluff curled up asleep in the sunbeam. Relief washed over me. Throughout the day, I'd check in. He'd wake up, wander around, maybe bat at a toy, then curl back up. It was exactly as I'd hoped, a gentle confirmation that he was settling in, a glimpse into his quiet little world while I was away. As the days turned into a week, then two, a pattern began to emerge, one that slowly started to prickle at the edges of my comfort. It wasn't immediately alarming, just curious. Every morning after I'd leave for work and Finn had finished his breakfast, he wouldn't go to his toys or settle down for a nap. Instead, he would position himself in front of the front door. Not right against it, mind you, but a few feet away, in the perfect spot to stare directly at it. At first, I chalked it up to normal puppy behavior, perhaps a little separation anxiety. He just misses me, I thought, waiting for my return. But as I watched the footage hour after hour, the stillness became more pronounced. Other dogs might pace, whine, or chew. Finn would just sit. His head slightly tilted, his eyes fixed on the door, unblinking for what felt like impossible stretches of time. He'd occasionally blink or an ear would twitch at a distant sound, but his gaze always returned to that door. It was unnerving. I'd replay clips, fast-forwarding through hours of him doing nothing but this unwavering vigil. It wasn't sad or frantic, it was methodical, almost expectant. Like he wasn't just waiting, but actively anticipating something very specific. I started talking to friends. My dog just stares at the door all day, I'd say, trying to make it sound amusing. They'd laugh, "Oh, he just loves you so much." But I knew it was more than that. The unwavering intensity in his gaze, even from a digital distance, felt different. Then came the day it all changed. It was a Tuesday, a regular work day. I was having a particularly stressful morning, a big deadline looming. Around lunchtime, I decided to take a quick mental break and checked in on Finn, as usual. The living room camera showed him in his usual spot, fixated on the door. He'd been there for hours, the light shifting across the room as the sun moved. I sighed, feeling a familiar twinge of unease. "Still at it, buddies," I muttered to myself. I watched for a moment, waiting for him to finally settle down, to drift off to sleep like a normal puppy. But he didn't. Instead, slowly, so incredibly slowly, his head began to turn. His eyes, those wide, innocent puppy eyes that usually held only warmth, now seemed to pierce through the lens, straight at me. At me. And then a voice. Not a bark, not a whine, but a clear, calm, almost human voice. It was soft, a little rough, as if unused to forming words, but undeniably distinct. Coming home early today. My breath caught in my throat. I froze, my hand hovering over the mouse. Had I imagined that? It must have been static, a trick of the audio, a neighbor's TV. My mind raced, trying to find a logical explanation. Dogs don't talk. Puppies certainly don't make chilling predictions. I rewound the footage, my fingers trembling slightly, my heart pounding against my ribs. I replayed the last 10 seconds. There it was again, Finn's head turning, his unblinking gaze locking onto the camera. And then the unmistakable words, clear as day, "He's coming home early today." I replayed it 5 more times, each time the words settling deeper into my mind, chilling me to the bone. It wasn't my imagination, it wasn't static, it was him. I sat there, staring at the frozen image of Finn, his head turned, his eyes on me, trying to process what I had just witnessed. Was this some kind of incredibly elaborate dream? A glitch in the Matrix? About an hour later, my phone rang. It was my boss. "Hey," he said, "the afternoon meeting just got canceled, and honestly, I'm feeling a little under the weather. Why don't we both just call it an early day?" I mumbled something incoherent, agreed, and hung up. I grabbed my bag, my mind reeling. I was going home early. Finn had known. He hadn't just predicted it, he had stated it as a fact, an hour before it happened. The drive home was a blur. My usual anticipation of seeing Finn was now mixed with a profound sense of awe and a strange, almost unsettling reverence. When I walked through the door, he greeted me with the usual enthusiastic tail wags and puppy kisses, behaving like any other normal dog. His eyes held only joy, no hint of the deep, knowing gaze I had seen on the screen. I never spoke of it to anyone. How could I? Who would believe me? But from that day forward, my relationship with Finn was different. He was still my adorable, goofy puppy, but there was an undeniable layer of mystery to him now. Every time he stared at the front door, I wondered what he was seeing, what future event he was quietly anticipating. And every time he looked directly at me, I couldn't help but wonder if he saw more than just his human, if he saw the threads of time weaving around us. The pet cams are still up, always recording. I still check them, not just for reassurance, but for that inexplicable glimpse into the extraordinary. Finn has never spoken another word on camera, but his silent vigil at the door continues, a constant, gentle reminder that sometimes the most profound wisdom comes from the most extraordinary and adorable sources. What about you? Have you ever had an experience that defies explanation, or a pet that seemed to know more than it let on? Share your thoughts and stories in the comments below, or hit that like button if this tale gave you a shiver. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories that explore the peculiar and the profound.